The banker's voice on the other end of the phone was apologetic but firm. "I'm sorry, Miss Vance, but the college fund was closed out 6 months ago. The balance is zero." I stood in the middle of my crowded university library, the world tilting on its axis. My parents, the two people I trusted implicitly, had drained my entire college fund. The money my grandmother had left me, the money that was supposed to pay for my final year of medical school. They had stolen my future to fund my sister's lavish influencer lifestyle wedding. When I confronted them, their response was a cold, dismissive shrug. "Your sister needed it more, Clara," my father had said. "A wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. You can always take out loans." They thought they had made a simple, pragmatic decision, sacrificing the quiet daughter for the flashy one. They had no idea that my grandmother, a woman who understood their nature perfectly, had left me a second, secret inheritance. And they had no idea that the empty antique safe I had tearfully asked to keep in return, the one they thought was a worthless piece of junk, contained a fortune that would make my college fund look like pocket change. My older sister, Olivia, was the sun around which my family orbited. She was beautiful, charismatic, and utterly self-absorbed. I was the quiet, studious one, the responsible daughter. My parents saw her life, documented through a lens of perfect Instagram filters, as a success. They saw my years of grueling study as a phase. The betrayal was absolute. They had not just taken the money, they had lied about it for 6 months, letting me believe my future was secure. The wedding was a spectacular affair, a $500,000 monstrosity paid for with my dreams. When I came home, heartbroken and facing a mountain of debt, I made one simple request. "Since there's no money left for me," I said, my voice thick with the sorrow they mistook for weakness, "can I at least have Grandma's old safe from the attic as a memento?" They laughed. The safe was a massive, ornate, and famously empty iron box. My grandfather, a notorious prankster, had supposedly lost the key a century ago. It had been a family joke for generations. "Of course, dear," my mother said, patting my hand. "Take the old thing, a fitting inheritance for our little historian." They were happy to give me a ton of worthless metal. They didn't know that my grandmother had given me the key on her deathbed. It wasn't a key, it was a riddle, a simple cryptic phrase she made me memorize. "Where the sun first greets the house, press the rose and turn the mouse." I had the safe transported to my small apartment. It was a beautiful, infuriatingly solid object. For weeks I studied it. The front was adorned with intricate carvings of roses and mice. It had no visible keyhole, only a complex, non-functional combination dial. Then I remembered the riddle. On the east-facing side of the safe, the side that would be greeted by the morning sun, was a single carved rose. I pressed its center. A faint click echoed from within. Then I found a tiny, almost invisible carving of a field mouse near the bottom. I turned it like a key. With a deep, groaning sound I felt in my bones. A hidden panel on the side of the safe swung open. The inside was not empty. It was filled with my grandmother's real legacy. Stacks of stock certificates from the original IPO of a small tech company my grandfather had invested in decades ago, a company that was now a global giant. Tucked beside them were property deeds to several prime commercial buildings downtown, and on top of it all, a letter. "My dearest Clara," it read. "Your parents love shiny things. Your sister loves attention. I pray they learn, but I plan for the worst. This is for you, my quiet, clever girl, the one who always knew how to solve a puzzle. Your real education starts now." I didn't cash in the stocks. I didn't sell the properties. I used them as collateral to secure a loan, paid for my final year of medical school, and graduated at the top of my class. Meanwhile, my older sister's perfect marriage was imploding. Her new husband, it turned out, had married her for the lifestyle she projected, a lifestyle that was funded entirely by my stolen college fund. When the money ran out, so did he. She was left with a mountain of debt and a closet full of designer clothes. They came to me, of course, my parents and my now divorced, bankrupt sister. They stood in the doorway of my new, beautiful office at the city's top hospital. "We need your help, Clara," my father began, his voice stripped of its usual authority. "Olivia, she's lost everything.
We need to sell the commercial buildings your grandmother owned to help her. I leaned back in my chair. Those buildings, I said, a slow, cold smile spreading across my face. I'm afraid those are mine. They were in the empty safe you were so happy to give me, along with a stock portfolio that is now worth, let me check, about 50 times what you stole from me. Their faces went from desperate to a shade of pale I had never seen before. They understood. They had traded a sure thing for a flashy party. They had stolen a puddle and thrown away the ocean. My grandmother left you money, I said, my voice hardening. She left me a lesson in value. You taught me one as well. You taught me that family is not a guarantee. It is a choice. I stood up and walked to the door. I'm late for surgery, I said. Please see yourselves out. I had spent years healing others. It was time, finally, to finish healing myself.